Meanwhile, new government data out about jobs. We had over 200,000 new jobs created in the month of July, which is really good news for the economy. That said, a lot of these new jobs that are being created are very much at the low end of the wage scale. And this recovery, and this is, one of the Republican talking points, tragically, but it is true, this is the weakest recovery since 1949. Now, what the Republicans won't tell you about why this is the weakest recovery since 1949 is that every legislative effort to strengthen the recovery, for example, Nancy Pelosi's law that she actually passed the House to end the tax breaks to companies who ship their jobs overseas and give tax breaks to companies who bring their jobs back home, to reverse basically the incentives built into today's tax code, that passed the House of Representatives. It went to the Senate. And it would have passed the Senate with more than 50 votes, but it was filibustered by Republicans. Just one of hundreds of examples of legislation that would have strengthened our economy and our recovery that the Republicans fought tooth and nail. And as a result of 7.5 years of Republican obstruction now, we have this weakest recovery since 1949, and it's now spreading around the world. This from the Financial Times is, if you're a subscriber, you get a weekly email kind of newsletter. They call it the Newsmine, excuse me. British government bonds plumbed new lows with 10-year gilt rates dropping 16 basis points to just 0.63%. So British bonds right now, the British government is borrowing at less than 1%. Gold hit a new high of $13.67 a troy ounce this week, just shy of its year high, reached back in July. A loss of confidence, this is on European bank share prices, a loss of confidence in the ability of European banks to increase earnings against a backdrop of negative interest rates and a tepid economy has ravaged share prices. And U.S. banks, and this is the one that really got my attention, U.S. banks have increased lending to consumers through credit cards and overdrafts at the fastest pace since 2007. Remember what happened that year? The industry has piled on about $18 billion of card loans and other types of revolving credit within just the past 3 months as consumers borrow more. Not good. Meanwhile, Pam and Russ Martin's writing over at wallstreetonparade.com. Is Deutsche Bank as dangerous to financial stability as Citigroup was in 2008? Listen to this. This is amazing. Deutsche Bank, the biggest bank in Germany and one of the biggest banks in the United States, has $17 billion in equity. You know what the value of the derivatives or the liability of the derivatives that they're holding is? $50 trillion. The GDP of the planet is $65 trillion. Deutsche Bank might be in big trouble.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
This is very much like what happened with Citibank when they were holding $38 trillion worth of derivatives back in 2008 and only owned $20 billion.
To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here. And please be sure to hit the handy-dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.